Hello, I'm Dr. Parks, and today I'm answering a question from Jerome. Jerome is concerned because he was recently told by his doctor that he is pre-diabetic, and he doesn't really understand what this means. He has a history of diabetes in his family, and he wants to know what he can do to help with this. Jerome, I will be right back to answer that question. Hi, Jerome. Pre-diabetes, what is that? That's my question. I always ask people, well, what does it mean you're pre-diabetic? Because people come in to my practice and that's what they've been told by their doctor. And, obviously it's a condition where they're getting close to diabetes, I guess. And I always ask, well, what is that? What do you need to, what's going on? And they're usually confused because they don't have diabetes. They can't really get medication for it. But then they're just kind of sitting around waiting to get diabetes. Because a lot of times when people are pre-diabetic, outside of the generic advice to not eat a lot of sugar, good luck with that, there's really no actual protocol in place just in regular medicine to help with that. So pre-diabetes just means that your blood sugars are rising and they're higher than normal. They're not high enough to qualify you to be a diabetic, but they're definitely not normal. So it's kind of a middle place. I really think the whole thing is diabetes. There's no such thing, I don't think, as pre-diabetes. Either your sugars are right or they're wrong. There's not, sugars are too important for us to have a gray area. So either your blood sugars are normal or they're abnormal. So if you're pre-diabetic, you have abnormal blood sugars, and blood sugars are literally one of my favorite things to fix because they are really, really easy to understand. Here is why I think it's easy to understand. Your body cannot make sugar. It cannot just synthesize sugar out of nowhere. You can release sugar and turn other things into sugar when you need it, but the only way for your blood sugar to actually get high, way above normal, is for sugar to come into your body from the outside. Which is great news because unlike a lot of other conditions, we can control, sugar going into our bodies. It's not easy because, I like sugar as much as the other person and it is a struggle, but it definitely is something that we can control. So, Jerome, these rising blood sugars, especially when you have a family history of diabetes, it's not something for you to play with because even when blood sugars are, in that pre-diabetic range, they are already wreaking havoc on all your organ systems. Now, your body needs some amount of sugar to function, and we look at blood sugars of above 100 as being out of the normal range. And most people, especially if you're diabetic, you want to keep it around 120 or below. But, I use 90 as a good screening tool. So if your fasting blood sugar is above 90 when you go to get your blood test from your doctor, that's like a little indicator that you don't really have very good blood sugar control. In my clinic, what we generally screen for is your fasting blood sugars. We look at your hemoglobin A1C, which gives us a average of your blood sugars for the past 3 months. And I also do a fasting insulin on everybody. So I don't care who you are, man, woman, or child. If you come into my practice, you're getting all three done. Our practice is cash-based, so we don't really have to wait for insurance reimbursement or see if they can get the test. Everybody gets it because I think it's a really simple, easy way to prevent a lot of things long term. High blood sugars can definitely lead to heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death still after all these years. And I really do think one of the biggest contributors to heart disease is people who run abnormal blood sugars. Abnormal blood sugars, ladies, listen to me. Abnormal blood sugars cause you to age faster. The minute you put your blood sugars down, you actually stop aging as rapidly. You get wrinkles, you get saggy stuff. And you know what kind of saggy stuff all over your body. No woman wants to be jiggly and saggy, but you really age your body fast when you're running higher blood sugars, even if you're not diabetic. Extra sugar gets stored as fat on top of your organs, and that internal body fat we call visceral fat, and that's pretty dangerous. So you really don't want to run high blood sugars at all, and definitely that pre-diabetic stage is definitely a warning sign that you really need to look at what you're eating, look at your activity levels, and see if you can reverse that. In our clinic, we reverse diabetic patterns and pre-diabetic patterns daily. I have people who come in whose blood sugars are raging high. They're like raging diabetics. They've been medicated for years, and we're able to get their blood sugars to be normal, to the point where they don't need any diabetic medication, after doing our program for a few months. It is amazing, again, because it's easy to fix. We know what the problem is. The problem is your body just doesn't process sugar normally, so we can control how much sugar we put into our body. And it's not just sugar, it's all the things that get converted into sugar. So a lot of times it's really easy to identify, oh, I shouldn't eat candy, or I shouldn't eat cupcakes or cookies or sweet things, but we forget about some of the other things that get converted into sugar once we eat them. So I have created a handout to help you identify some of these foods that get converted into sugar and can make your blood sugars go higher even when you're eating healthy. You can go to my website, drparks.com/blood sugars, and download this. Until next time, when you have health questions, ask Dr. Parks.